and we are going to go ahead and get started. Janita Gavankar is not going to be able to make it, and Jim Parrack has been delayed, so we're just going to go ahead and get started right now. Our first guest has been on The X-Files, NCIS, Bones, and Justified. As a Fantasia waitress, she may hold the record for screaming. Please welcome Tara Buck.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you guys all doing from last night? You're up and rallying. I love it. Thank you for joining us this morning. I think it's going to be fun and intimate.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's get wild.
How are you feeling?
I feel great. Yeah.
Didn't stay out too late?
No, not too late. I got a little. I had a night. It was Saturday night, but not too late. Yeah.
Our next guest has been on Grey's Anatomy, The New Adventures of Old Christine, and Seinfeld, and now plays Holly. Please welcome Lauren Bowles.
What a gentleman. Good morning, folks.
Good morning.
I heard some serious partying going on last night, so I so thought there'd be like 3 people here. I'm impressed with you all.
How are you feeling?
You know, I'm like an old woman at these things. My nights entail room service and really bad movies. I go wild.
Have you seen anything on DragonCon TV?
No.
It's the channel that the DragonCon runs. It's on the hotel thing. Just find it in your room.
You're just telling me this now.
Yeah.
On my last day. My whole weekend would have been made if I had done that.
It's amazing stuff.
I got plenty of DragonCon TV. I lived it all day with you folks. And you didn't disappoint.
All good.
Our final guest is a Juilliard School of Drama graduate, along with Nelson Ellis. She made her film debut starring in How She Moved, and now plays Tara Thornton on True Blood. Please welcome Rutina Wesley.
Good morning to you. I am good.
Morning.
I'm good. How is everybody?
Good.
Raise your hand, by the way, if you're hungover. Very well-behaved crowd. That's not too bad. By the way, and also, if Jim does show up, I think we should all give him a lot of shit when he comes. Everyone scream really loud. No problem.
So, for all of you, this is your first DragonCon. What do you think so far?
It's awesome. I think it's better than San Diego Comic-Con, definitely. I love the costumes. I love the originality here. I think you guys have so much creativity. It's amazing what I've seen. I'm just excited that I got to meet the Power Rangers. I secretly love them. So I've been having a great time. Yeah.
We got to meet Buck Rogers yesterday.
Yep.
That was
So
way
exciting.
Yep. But yeah, I have to concur with Rutina. The costumes are out of this fucking world. I can't believe the mad skills you people have.
Yeah.
Really incredible. Really, really incredible. Yeah. And you guys can party. I mean, my goodness.
True.
There's so much. You think you heard people. I mean, you know, in the middle of the night, I hear somebody like running down the hall. And part of me is mad. I'm like, oh, I'm woken up. Part of me is like, I need to get out of bed and join this party. What am I doing? Sleeping. Wait for me.
So there are a lot of vampire shows on the air right now, and for the last few years, a lot of vampire movies, but True Blood really stands out among them. What do you think makes True Blood so different from all the competition?
I was going to say 2 words, Alan Ball.
I feel like our show is the vampire show for adults. It's raw, it's sexy, it's in your face, it's real. I like that we have a lot of, and when I say real, like there's just a lot of realness on the show, like, and even in the actors that you see, we've got all different types of people, different types of beauty, different types of, but we look, I feel like a lot of us look real, like it's not just cookie cutter, it's just, it's got this grit, that's a good word, it's got this grit to it and texture, that a lot of other shows don't have, where I feel a lot of the shows are a little more pretty and nice and coded, whereas our show gets right down to it.
It's so true. And then you add in the supernatural element to it. I feel like that's what gives it this base. Yeah. This great combination of fun, fantasy, wild stuff happening, and yet, you know, there are definitely moments where you're like, this is real. This is a movie. This is, you know, not just any old television show.
I think one of the things that makes it really seem real are the sets. The sets just seem amazing from the viewer's point of view. What are the sets like? How do they compare to sets you've seen on other shows?
So awesome.
I have a funny story. My first day on the set was in Merlotte's. And I'm telling you, I walked onto that set for the first time. I was truly Dorothy in Oz. I kid you not. That could be like a truly well-functioning like restaurant. But it's just incredible to see these iconic sets in person is really, really wild. So, yeah, our set designers are phenomenal for sure.
When we first started shooting, Fantasia was in Long Beach at a real bar called Alex's Bar. And it was completely, you know, the Fantasia that we know and love. And I believe season 3, they recreated Fantasia on a soundstage. And the first day I came to work at Fantasia, after they had moved it, I walked in the front door, so it's a soundstage outside, and you walk in the front door, and it was the most amazing, confusing feeling because it literally was identical to the original in every single way. Once you walked through the door, it was like a portal in time. You could not tell that it was a different place. And obviously completely different location, so it's awesome.
Rutina, what is the set like at the vampire camp?
In the what?
The vampire camp.
Camp. Those damn scrubs. The vamp camp is awesome. I tell you, the gin pop I thought was very kind of creepy and scary because of the morgue, the little morgue doors. I was like, do I have to get in there because I'm a little claustrophobic? I don't want to go in there. But it's kind of amazing how they build these mini little worlds that they build, and it's very specific. You know, you had the wheel, the room with the wheel, the room where they would plant the fangs, the sex room. It was just, and you're walking around on stage, the sound stage, and you're just looking at all these little rooms, and you're like, who can think of all these things and make sure they get everything exactly right that it would look like if we were in jail, like in a camp. It was identical to what it would be. It's real. And almost I have to remember that, like, it's like I'm a vampire. It's like I can't touch that. That's silver. Like I can't touch it. Like, oh, I can't. Oh wait, no wait. I'm not really a vampire. Not like, you know, I get confused sometimes. But
cut. You can touch it.
Yeah, I know. But no, it's great. It's awesome. It's awesome how they pay attention to the detail.
How big is it? Because it looks just huge on TV.
The soundstage is pretty big, but it's not as big as they make it look, I think. I mean, it's not as big as it seems because they shoot to different angles to make it look a little wider, I think, and just bigger. I would say some of those rooms are kind of smaller, a lot smaller than they are in sort of like in TV life.
Well, as actors, how does that help you, having a set where there is really attention to detail?
It makes it real. You don't even have to act.
You don't have to pretend.
Yeah, you don't have to, it does a lot of the work for you. Because a lot of times when you don't have this, you know, you have to kind of fill it in for yourself and act as if it were there.
Yeah.
So they make our job so much easier by making it so realistic.
I know many of you have backgrounds in theater, live theater. How does being in front of a live audience compare to and help you with being on a show like True Blood?
I will say to that is in theater, what I love about theater is that, you know, you go up on a line or something goes wrong on stage, you gotta fix it. You can't, there is no cut, there is no do-over. You gotta just be on your toes. And there's one person in particular on our show, Nelson, who is amazing at improv. Most of that stuff that comes out of his mouth is his. He makes it up. And I feel like we get to do a lot of that on our show. We get to sort of improv and sort of just feel out what the scene is, especially being 6 years in, knowing our characters so well, we can just sort of go. And I think having a theater background, that sort of helps you with that, to be able to jump into a scene and just kind of go with the flow and make up your own sort of lines of doing what's sort of on the page. Because sometimes we do that at a rehearsal.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have a background in that so you can feel free to be able to play with your scene partner and discover new things and then go back to the script, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's probably, I mean, in my experience, as far as a television show, it's the closest to theater that I've ever experienced. It's not, I mean, it's so free. The producers and the directors and everybody, they're very open to the actors just playing. So even when you come in, you know, you get to create what you want to create, and they love it, and they just support you. And I don't think you find that in very many television shows. Usually, you know, it's like you're on this mark and deliver your lines, and, you know, get to the end of the scene, and this is not like that at all. It's go play, and they happen to be taping it, and they love it, you know?
Yeah, I would say I was sort of liking theater versus film. Like, as a dancer, they say if you've trained in ballet, because it's the most structured and disciplined, it's very easy to go then to modern or jazz or to some other forms of dance. And I would sort of say the same thing with theater, that if you know, trained in film, it's a very different beast to go do theater then. But if you're trained in theater, it's a question of just volume, and is your audience way out there in the back and projecting out to there, or is it just the camera and you're just turning down the volume? And what's great also about our show, I feel like we've got a lot of theater trained actors. So, and you can tell, man, you can just tell, particularly at the read-throughs. I always drives me crazy when actors at the read-throughs are starting, because this is the writer's time to really hear it and know what's working and what doesn't, what needs to be revisited. So whenever, you know, on a million shows I've done at the read-throughs, I'm like, let's sell it for them a little. Let's kind of perform it so they can see what works. And then there's just they're doing them up. They've got no fucking idea. And in our show, I feel like really at the read-throughs, it's kind of like a little mini play. Like people bring it, and, because most of the actors on our show are trained. So yeah, that's great.
Well, at the table reads, are you literally just at a big table reading it all together?
Yeah, like a Yalta-sized conference table. It's ginormous because it's a cast of, yeah, exactly. And then then HBO, then like the networks on the side, and then the casting directors, a lot of the crew, and directors are all sitting around. It's a crowded room.
It's like 5,000 people in one room.
Yeah, in a room not that big.
How has being on this successful show, True Blood, helped you in your careers?
You're still on it.
Exactly. I mean, for me, I feel like, you know, there are so many, it's been an amazing opportunity for me, and I have had an opportunity to meet people and get into rooms that I wasn't able to get into before. And now my agent says that I'm on True Blood, or they have seen the show, and suddenly I'm meeting with people that, you know, I wasn't able to before, and having an opportunity to act for them and show them what I can do. And I feel really blessed and so lucky to be working with such an incredible cast.
Truth be told, I don't feel a huge difference. Other than having this gig that I feel the same way, like, pinch me, I can't believe I'm invited to the party. But outside of that, I don't know that I might feel it when the show, you know, ends, but as of now, I don't necessarily feel like a huge difference. Although I get to come to Dragon Con. Do you get to do that?
after Grey's Anatomy?
Wow. Yeah. Graduating right out of college and then getting a show that ends up being one of the biggest shows on television is huge for little old me in my head. I still am very overwhelmed at the fact that it's happening, that I'm, on television. Kind of weirds me out still. But it's been great for me. A lot of casting directors and directors who may not have known me know me now and appreciate my work, call me in for things that I may not have been called in for. And it's been great. I feel like for me, True Blood has been a dream come true type of thing. I dreamed about this in school. I dreamed about this when I was a kid, being an actor, telling stories, and now I get to do what I love. I'll never forget when I, got the call that I got the show. My manager and agents actually said, "Hey, how would you and your husband like to, go on your honeymoon finally?" Because we had no money when we got married out of school, and I literally was pulling out of a Starbucks parking lot, almost backed into somebody because I'm shaking and crying, and I was like, "What? You can't? What? Honeymoon? Huh?" And I was like, and I had to pull back in because they were punking at me. They were like, "You're about to hit me," and I couldn't believe it. Alan was so amazing and made me feel so free and welcome in my audition. That it's just, it's been amazing being on this show and amazing working with the people I've been working with and that I've grown to love. So it's been great.
I think we've got one more guest.
Look who decided to show. Really loud, people. What did you do last night?
Well, morning, everyone.
Explain.
Where you been, buddy?
Well, I've been in bed. It's the second time I didn't get a wake-up call.
Did you give me a pound in the elevator last night?
I did. Those are good guys, though.
I was like, I think that's my friend.
Did you not know that was me?
I thought it was, but you had your mask on, and
Yeah.
so it was just, a moment. It was like a silent, hey.
She was so uncomfortable.
I think you're my friend. I know, I really was. He's been walking around in a mask, by the way, so anyone you see in a mask,
Yeah, if you see a mask.
if
Yeah.
you see a mask,
And Dragon
it
Con.
could be him. Any mask.
How you doing?
Well, for the 6 minutes I've been awake, great. I think, and I've been going around getting photographs of everybody at the event because I didn't get to do that last time. And you guys look so good, so awesome. It's been fun.
How do you think this compares to something like Comic-Con?
In all the years I was on True Blood, I never went to Comic-Con because
Wow.
I'm just a regular old human, I think.
A lot of us humans don't get to go to Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, exactly. This is much better.
Well, this is Atlanta, and they can keep San Diego, man.
So we were talking about how being on True Blood has affected your career. How has your career been? What has True Blood done for you?
Wow. And I'm sure these guys will tell you. It's just, there's something about Alan Ball and HBO essentially vouching for you that catches the attention of the kinds of people that I admire. And, this job can't really, I mean, maybe so, but it's a rare thing that one acting job guarantees you another acting job. But it definitely gets you right in front of for me, it's gotten me right in front of the people that I would want to be in front of. And then, and it certainly was, I was very uncomfortable in front of the camera for the first 2 years of being in front of the camera. I liked plays better, and I just felt self-conscious. And being on the show got me over all that, because was consistent work, and it was high quality writing and stuff. And I don't know. Everybody I've ever met in the industry loves Alan Ball. And they all love HBO, and to be hired by them is to kind of say, yeah, we vouch for these guys, and that's opened the world up for me.
Growing up, I understand you weren't interested necessarily in acting, and then when you were first interested in it, you were kind of keeping it a secret for a while.
I was in the closet. Well, I'm from what used to be a little town in Texas, and so I watched Lonesome Dove. I don't know if you guys ever saw Lonesome Dove. Yeah. All right. So I was like 8 years old and saw Robert Duvall and thought that would be what I want to do. Whatever it is that guy's doing, I want to do that. But it wasn't a very cool thing to say where I grew up, and I was very concerned for some reason with being what I thought was cool. So I did kind of keep it to myself until the end of high school. And then to everybody's dismay and shock, announced one night at dinner, I'm declining my golf scholarships to school and I'm going to be an actor. And that was fun.
But you've obviously found some success since then. You've got your own production company now.
I've been very blessed, and I do have my own production company now.
120 Productions, what are you working on?
You guys okay with me answering this?
What'd you say?
You guys okay with me answering this?
No.
All right, I'm making a supernatural thriller about how bullying doesn't just stop in high school, it goes on into life once you're an adult. That looks at some really crazy witch shit in it. But it's mostly a look at like different ways to handle being on the outside of a society or outside of a culture. And I've been shooting it with a group of people up in Pennsylvania over the course of the last 4 seasons. And it's called Black Curry. And it's gonna, pardon my language, it's gonna knock your fucking heads off. And I'll let you know more down the road.
And Lauren, I understand you were in a movie with Todd Lowe, who plays Terry.
I was. It was so delicious. We got to play husband and wife. The casting director, one of our casting directors, Lisa, and Judy Howard Johnson, who's our main casting director of True Blood, was doing a small independent film, What Lola Wants, and had a part of sort of the funky hippie couple. She thought of the two of us. I can't imagine why. And so it was great fun. We got to cheat on Chris Bauer and Carrie Preston.
When's it coming out?
Very good question. We just shot it right when we wrapped in end of July, so I actually don't know, but my guess usually it's about 9 months to a year turnaround. Yeah.
And Rutina, I don't think anybody in the audience could possibly see this.